Hi everyone, Erica from Bravo Migration here. Today I have a story for you about how we helped a client who initially didn't believe he qualified for a visa. We see many clients who believe they qualify for visas and make the wrong decision and go ahead and lodge a visa application for which they really didn't qualify. And we also see people on the other side of the coin who say, I don't qualify for this visa. I've checked and there's no way I can qualify, which also can be as problematic as someone who lodged the visa application without qualifying. So you probably know what I'm going to say, which is don't jump to conclusions yourself. Don't rely on your internet research. Doesn't matter how good you are at that. The best option is always to talk to a migration agent or a migration lawyer. And this story is a great example of that. So our client, let's call him Luke. He didn't think he qualified for a permanent employer visa, subclass 186. He was on his second sponsorship visa because he didn't believe he could apply for a permanent residence visa. His case was complex. There were a lot of issues with his case, but he qualified and we got a visa approval for him. So he was on a 482 visa and his occupation was not on the medium and long-term skills shortage list. His occupation was marketing specialist. Now, he thought, okay, I'm going to be able to extend my 482 TSS sponsorship visa, get another 2 years, and that's it. I'm going to have to go back home. Then, to make matters worse, his employer had changed entities during the life of his visa application. So when he started working for them, let's call them Bluefish Enterprises, sponsored Luke on the first 482 TSS visa. And then during the life of his visa, when they applied for his second 482 visa, they had changed to Redfish Enterprises and incorporated a new company in Australia. And they lodged the second 482 visa application for Luke under this new entity. So Luke thought, okay, I don't have an occupation in high demand. I haven't worked for the same employer for the whole time that I've been sponsored. And to make matters worse, when he came to see us, he was still on a bridging visa. So he had used up his first 482 TSS visa, which was valid for 2 years. Before that visa expired, his employer lodged another application for a 482 for him, and it had been a year, and he was on a bridging visa waiting for that 482 visa to come through. So he also thought, I can't apply for a permanent visa if I hold a bridging visa. So what Luke knew, and that was right, is that there's a permanent visa for people who are in Australia sponsored temporarily on a 482 TSS temporary skills shortage visa. And the natural progression for all skilled workers who are in this visa is to want to apply for a permanent employer nomination visa, subclass 186. So Luke knew that this visa existed, and he also knew there were two streams to apply for this visa: a direct entry stream, which is only available indeed for those who have an occupation in the medium and long term. But there's also another stream, which is called temporary residence transition stream, which is for people who have been already in Australia on a 482 TSS visa working in the same position. Now, if you look at the legislation for this visa, it requires the person to have held a 482 TSS visa for at least 3 years. It requires the person to have worked during those minimum 3 years in the same position, which under policy signifies that should be with the same employer. But there's also policy that offer flexibility when there's been a restructure, such as in Luke's case. So you don't have access to policy when you look at the Department of Immigration's website. You don't have access to policy when you're doing your own research. Policy is a document that only the case officers and migration agents and lawyers have access to. So we know nuances of the requirements that you may not know. And in a lot of cases, that goes against you because we may know things that will tell you, look, you shouldn't apply for this visa because you don't qualify. But the other side of this coin, as I'm saying, is that sometimes we know things that will be good for you, that will mean you qualify when you don't believe you don't. So in Luke's case, he came for a consultation. He came recommended by a previous client of ours who also had got his sponsorship visa and then a permanent employer visa through our firm. And he said, I pretty much believe I don't qualify, but I thought I should check with someone. And I looked at all the first business ceasing operations, incorporating a new one, but he remained in the same position. The business was doing the same business. The clients were the same. The website was the same. They changed names, but they explained the change of names on the website. So this fell into what policy considers acceptable. There's been a restructure, but and the new sponsor has taken over his visa, but that's actually the same business and he's been doing the same job, the same position. So it had been 3 years, even though he had changed employers technically. So we explained to him that, he qualified for that. Now we can lodge a 186 visa application for someone on a bridging visa, but the time, if you look at the legislation, it says the 3 years minimum work should have been undertaken while holding a 482 TSS visa. But the policy also offers flexibility and directs case officers to accept time worked spent on a bridging visa if the bridging visa is a result of another application for a 482 visa for the same position. So Luke didn't know any of those things. We told him all of those things. He also qualified, although he didn't have an occupation in high demand, because he had been here during the pandemic. And there are exceptions for people who spent at least 1 year between 2020 and 2021 here in Australia. He's one of them. But as I record this video, today is the 22nd of November. On the 25th of November, this exception will apply to everyone. The department is removing the restriction that only certain occupations in high demand can apply for the 186 visa. So what's the point of my story to you today is one, for you to don't presume you qualify or don't presume you don't qualify without speaking to a professional. I'm sure you're smart enough, and the internet nowadays helps us in many, many ways. But policies is still something that only a registered professional or a solicitor will be able to discuss with you. And policy may be something that creates a problem for you or that saves your application. So chat to one of our agents and solicitors today. Have a consultation with us. If you are on a 482 visa and you are looking at applying for a 182, or if you have a sponsorship offer and you're in Australia, we provide you a free discovery call with one of our agents so you can check if you qualify and we can all decide if we should work together. But don't presume that what you see on the Internet Department of Immigration website, especially, that's all, because there's more. And we can make it happen for you because we've been in business for 15 years as a business, and together our solicitors and agents have over 50 years of experience in migration. So we're here for you. Don't do this alone. We hope to help you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our story. And by the way, Luke's visa has been approved and he's very happy. So who knows, we want to make you happy as well. Get in touch with us. Use the link here if you're watching this on YouTube, or get into our website and there's a contact form there. See ya.